All right, welcome back to Boring Reviews. Nick here, and I am super excited for what we're going to be doing today. I am going to be reviewing the film Kaithi live as a live stream. Hopefully, you can join me. Hopefully, you can interact in the comment section. Now, if you're watching this as it's recorded, if you're watching this not live, welcome back to Boring Reviews. Nick here. I'm going to be having Varun to join me very, very soon. I just want to get started by taking care of some housekeeping things. Please don't forget, if you haven't done so yet, hit the like button on this video. If you hit the like button and it's live, then it'll send it out to more people. If you hit the like button and you're watching this, it'll still send it to more people, which helps our channel out a lot, especially if you like what you hear here. Please don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want, go ahead and consider clicking that join, that membership button below. You can become a member and you can get different perks. You can get different emoji stickers. You can get different things as a part of the Boring Review family. If you want to do Patreon, we have a Patreon below as well. You can check that out. It's going to be kind of a laid back, kind of a casual review, interacting with you. For those that are here in the live, comment below. If you're not live, that's totally fine. I'm going to be discussing the things that I loved about this movie. I'm going to be discussing the things that I really, really liked, but not yet to that love territory. I'm also going to be discussing some of the things that didn't work for me. Okay. I have some things in all those. We're going to be discussing the LCU. We're going to be discussing what this movie meant for the LCU as it became a thing, and how it ties in with some similar characters to Vikram, and what are some of the plans moving forward for our awesome character, Dilly, played by Kaithi. But I see some in the live already. Thank you so much for joining. Go ahead and hit any comments you want to put in there. Interact with us as we're talking about different things. We may not respond to you right away, but we'll highlight some of the comments. If you feel like you really want to support the channel, you can also send a super chat in there with your comment. That would be much appreciated. But this is a film that I reacted to. If you missed the reactions, go ahead and check them out. They're on the channel. You can see all of my reactions. It's edited. If you want to see a full-on, non-edited reaction where it's just me watching the movie, you can check that out on Patreon. It's available to any Patreon, any tier. That's even a $1 tier. You can check that out on there. Also want to thank our sponsor for our channel, WeSept. If you want to check out this recorded video on WeSept, go ahead and do that. We would appreciate that. And we got our first comment here. Also got Varun here joining me. Varun is a part of Boring family, part of Boring Land, if you will. And he's going to help me with this review. We're going to be talking about a few things, but we hope you enjoy it. If you like this format of review, go ahead and comment that below, whether you're watching it live or recorded. But I think I got all of that stuff out of the way, ready to just talk about this film, this Tamil film, very groundbreaking, directed by Lokesh. And let me go ahead and bring in Varun. Varun, what is happening? How are you doing?
I'm good, Nick. Thank you so much for having me again. And hello, Boring Review Nation. This is the first time I think I'm live on Boring Review. I mean, this is the first time in a while that we are doing here. So yeah, good to be here. Hello, everyone. I see some people joined in. Yeah, very excited to talk about this wonderful movie. Yeah.
Absolutely. And remind me, Varun, you had not seen this before you were helping me out with our live reactions, correct? Or not live reactions, but our movie reactions.
Yes, I followed the same path that you followed. I saw Vikram first, then I saw Karthik. Just for the review, I saw Vikram. Then I was really excited about people talking about Kaithi also. Did I said Karthik? I might have.
You've been
So
hanging out with
I'm
me too
really
much.
yeah. So yeah, very. I heard all good things about Kaithi as well, even before watching it. Before watching Vikram as well. Then finally, when our people told like it's a very good movie, you should much watch because it is in the universe. So I had to watch it, and I really enjoyed the movie.
Yeah, so we're gonna get into it. I'm not sure if you caught my earlier part, but I'm gonna go over things I love. We're gonna go over things we loved, things we liked a lot, and things that maybe we didn't like. If you have any, I have a few things in that territory or that department. Don't hit that dislike button so fast. But if you want to, go ahead. I hear it helps the algorithm. But talking about live streaming on Born Reviews, if you don't know as an audience, I'm assuming most of you do. I have another channel called Cricket for Americans, and we do a lot of live streaming there. I
Yeah.
checked it out, Varun. The last live stream we did on this channel was March of last year.
Oh my
Okay.
God. Yeah.
And yeah, exactly. And oddly enough, we did two, like in a 2 week span. We did our live reaction to watching the last episode of WandaVision. But
Mm-hmm.
the most recent one, I believe, was the KGF watch along,
KGF.
which a lot of people have been asking
Okay.
for that. I find that to be, as an audience, I love YouTube. I watch YouTube myself all the time. I find that to be a tough one to follow along because you don't
Yeah.
see anything, but a lot of people seem to enjoy it. So we might have to put that on our list of things to do. But it's been a long time. I think we only have 4 live streams in the last 2 years. So it's been a while. Born Review Nation, we apologize for it being so long. But I'm excited to talk about the movie in this format. We got a comment right here already. Appreciate Kashik for joining us. Nice profile pic there. I don't think that's you, but if it is, that's super awesome. It says, now watch the Rolex scene again. Now you understand how Dilly is tied to the bigger scheme of things. Okay. So this brings up a great point. Thank you, Kashik. We're going to talk about LCU
Yeah.
and how this ties into it and all that kind of stuff after we talk about this movie. So do stick around. But I'm going to be completely honest. There's a lot of, I think it's because I did it backwards, but also because I think there's a lot of things in this movie, which is a good thing that if you blink, you're going to miss it, right? And
Yeah.
so there's a lot of things as far as connections go that I was not able to pick up, even though I've seen Vikram already.
Mm.
So we're going to get to this comment, Varun. Don't let me forget about getting this comment in a little bit later when we talk about the whole universe. But I appreciate this a lot, Kaushik. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and start with. Let's start with the good. All right, let's start with the good. So I kind of have my notes here. I don't always do notes, but I wanted to make sure that we were spot on for this review. I got my notes on things that I thought were really cool, but maybe not that I absolutely loved. So we're going to start in that area of Varun. And just so you guys know, I didn't give Varun any kind of notes, any kind of heads up. So
No,
he's
I
on the
don't have
spot right
any
now.
notes with me.
So if you're going to dislike someone, dislike me, not him, because I did not prepare him at all. This is kind of how I do things. I'm not really very organized, but you don't want to hear about that. I'll start off with some things that I thought that were really cool while you think about yours. First of all, this was brought to my attention by one of the comments, one of the viewers, who said that the entire movie takes place at night, besides the
Yeah.
very end.
Yeah.
And I became a huge fan of Lokesh Ganaraj, the director, after watching Vikram. Just one movie, that's all I needed. And this movie did not change my opinion about him whatsoever. But just that idea that the entire thing was done at night until the very end. And then, ladies and gentlemen, full spoilers. Okay, this is full spoilers. So, I mean, you have your warning right now. The end, when he's with his daughter, we have daylight, which I can't imagine was not an accident for a lot of different reasons, right?
It was
You
intentional.
have, yeah, exactly. What's the phrase that we hear all the time? The night is darkest right before the dawn, right?
Yeah.
He has an amazing moment with his daughter, Light, after he went through that dark time. He goes to prison before that, and then he gets out, and he really has to earn that reunion. So I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah, really cool. Even I did not notice that the entire movie was shot in night, and also in the movie universe, it was shot in one night. The complete everything what happens is in one night, right?
Right.
So yeah, so that
I
was
love
also
that too.
cool.
Yeah.
Generally, when I think about movies like that, I feel the scale will be small because they are already restricted with showing only one night of content. But this movie did a very good job of not only showing visually some of the best scenes, even though if they were shooting in night, but also they packed so much. The scale did not look small. the budget was very good, the action scenes, so they have put in a lot of things. They restricted themselves in terms of the story, but the commitment that they have put in was not small. So in that regard, I liked it very much. Yeah, and one thing which was very surprising for me that I did not expect, end of the movie they left it on a cliffhanger. So I initially thought Lokesh Kangaraj has made this movie and then thought of Vikram as kind of an afterthought. But no, in the climax itself, they have so while shooting this movie itself, they were committed to make the sequels, the universe. So I did not expect that. That was really cool. That at the end, the villain who is in the jail, right? He mentions Lily, and he said, "No, no, he is definitely related now. So we will, he has to pay the consequences for this, something on that line." So yeah, that was really cool, which I found.
Absolutely. And once again, if you're joining us right now, thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I promise we're going to get to most of your comments that you're putting in the live stream. Thank you so much for doing that. Don't feel deterred if we don't get to it right away. We're definitely going to as we go through kind of our little organization here, if we have any. I thought the action, and we're still in the area of what we thought was really cool, not yet loved. I thought the action was fantastic,
Yeah,
especially all the scenes with Kaithi where he was kicking some serious butt. I don't need my films to be grounded in reality. Not all of them. If you're going to
yeah,
start a movie grounded in reality, then finish that way, obviously. But I
correct.
loved how he had almost like that superhuman strength element to him, where he was
Yeah,
kicking butt, especially. I want to go to my notes right here because there were so many awesome action scenes, especially where he's in front of the truck, right? Especially the first time we realize that he can take care of business. It's
yeah,
almost
yeah.
like he's like, let me go ahead and take care of this right now. And he gets
Mm,
out. He tells Bijoy, who's hurting for certain, I got this. And he's just taking guys out left and right. And I absolutely loved it. He did a great job with the editing too, and those my reactions to those things because I was really loving those scenes.
yeah,
But it wasn't one note. Like it was different types of him kicking butt. And then also the director was not afraid to have him be fallible, have him get stabbed, have him get hit in the head
yeah.
with a rock a few times. We're gonna get to Paul Pondy in a second. I can't stand that guy. But the action was fantastic. And I think when you had mentioned about this film, it's not a film that's supposed to be grandiose, so it's not trying to be grandiose, kind of like what Vikram was, in my opinion. But
Yeah,
what it is it's still not afraid to give us like grandiose action sequences, but on a smaller, realistic scale, if that makes sense.
correct.
What do you think about the action?
Yeah, as you said, they were not afraid to show some over the top scenes. I mean, one man kicking butt of so many people and taking, I mean, committing it to all the situations. Most of the action scenes he was handling single-handedly, right? In Vikram, they had support. Some action scenes were divided. There were the different sequences that were going on, but here there were single sequences. Everything Karthik was handling. Yeah, they have given a backstory of him little bit. Like before going to jail, he was kind of a thug, who was doing all those things before he met his wife and everything. He was in the small story that he was telling. So they did a good job that he's not like an ordinary person. He was doing this in his past. So yeah, that they have committed. And yeah, some most of the scenes were realistic, some over the top, but still in that universe I thought they made sense. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And we got a few comments here from Saganisha. What's up, Saganisha? How you doing? He says some were exhilarating, some were intense with the score. Yeah, the score was absolutely amazing as it
yeah,
went along with the action sequences. And I do agree with this. I really do. As I'm praising the action, remember, this is still part of my thought it was cool, not I loved. There was a slight disconnect with me with some of the action pieces with how many times he got stabbed. So there's that one sequence where he's outside the truck. I think it's like the second
Quarry.
time where
Yeah, yeah,
he gets hit quite a few times, right? And it
yeah,
kind of seemed like a lot, but he was also kind of at the bottom of that dog pile until he finally
mm,
comes through. I can
Such a
see
cool
what you're
scene.
saying, Saganisha, but yes, that was a great scene, right? Because I honestly, even though I don't know, I guess I watch these movies without really fully thinking. I'm just kind of immersed in it because I'm thinking like, oh, he's going to die right now. This is the
Mm.
end of him, and that's going to suck. But luckily, it's not. But I see what you're saying, Saganisha. It did take you out a little bit, and I'm going to mention not that action scene, but a different action sequence on something that I did not love about the movie. But I don't really have too much not likes whatsoever. Something else that I thought that was really cool was how you had B Joy
Yeah.
basically unable to do what he normally could do. I mean, he's a police
Mm.
officer. He seems like he's high in the ranks. He seems like he's equipped to handle any kind of situation, but he gets basically taken out because of injury, because of this or that early on, to where we need to have Dilly step in and take care of different things. And I thought for a plot point, even though it sucked if you're a fan of that character, for a plot point, it raised the stakes instantly. And I think that's what the great filmmakers do is they find ways, not easy, not redundant, not ways that we see a million times. They find different simple ways to raise the intensity, raise the suspense, raise the stakes without doing the same old thing. So I thought that was a really nice touch. Even though I liked B Joy and Vikram for a little bit that we have him, I was kind of hoping for a little more, but I still liked what they did with him to kind of give us more Dilly.
Yeah, talking about Vijay, actually, I did not expect this much. Also, in the it has to be in this movie, because when I saw him in the Vikram movie, right, I was not expecting him to have a role itself in the first movie. When I then I
Right.
saw, and he was throughout the movie, so which was surprising for me. So I got more than what I was expecting out of Vijay. Yes, he was literally made handicapped. So he was not able to do anything. He was not able to contribute in terms of the action scenes, but it was it made the scene intense. We have Karthik, who was taking care of business. We have a kid, who for whom we were worried about, and we have Bijoy, who was basically cannot do anything. We are also worried about his safety also. So all the action scenes were made more intense, I would say, because of having these things to the other characters. And talking about that quarry scene, one thing I also found it odd was when he was stabbed, right? When he was stabbed, and the villain stamps on the earrings, then he suddenly gets up and he kind of flies. So which was odd. Like the
That's cool.
entire
Not gonna
choreography
lie.
was so nice, except that scene.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why they did that. They could have done it little better. So it basically, he flies and falls on two people, and he kicks one person at the same time. So yeah, that was the only thing, but which stood out for me in terms of the choreography. I mean, it was not very well done, but otherwise, action scenes were done very very well.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I still like the flying scene. It's almost like the director's like, I can't help myself. I gotta have this in here. I think at one point wasn't he stabbed like right in the back too, like pretty deep.
Yeah, multiple
Like
times.
it's hard to jump back from that. It says multiple times. Yes, it's hard to bounce back from that. But at the same time, it's fantastic. And like Saganisha and Kaushik are saying, the budget's very low,
Mm,
$3 million. And as I was reading up about this film, Lokesh was he wanted to do two different films, but he said there's a lot of research, a lot of time into it, and he just kind of got this idea reading an article, I believe, about a real guy who came out of prison and was able to do this or that, and it kind of got him motivated to do this. And like you had said, as he's making it, he's thinking like, oh, there's a lot more I can do in this world. And again, we're going to talk about the universe in a little bit, but I love that element so much here and there. But those are the things that I thought were really really cool. Not quite absolutely loved. Did you have any other things that you thought were great? Not perfect, but you thought were really great.
uh, not perfect. I think I pretty much loved all other things. I really love how the director takes these minor characters and makes them big. Like they put them in a situation where they have to push themselves, right? They have to do something they have not done before. So that's something I will liked a lot. There is no character which is ideal, or there is or they don't have any purpose. He takes those characters only when he thinks there is a purpose, and gives a very good purpose. In the previous movie Vikram, Agent Tina, what Agent Tina did, I thought Napoleon did in this movie. Again, we were totally shocked about how he took the responsibility. He was reluctant most of the time. He was not able to commit to it, but finally when he did, he had an awesome moment. He was also nobody. We were not expecting him to rise up to the occasion, and with the help of those college students who were also, we were not expecting. I thought they were not, they will be in the movie for only one scene, and he has also used them very well to help in the mission. So yeah, overall, whenever he takes any character, even the kid with Karthik, right? So even I thought he will not be in the movie for long. So he was also there throughout the movie. So he will take those characters, and I mean, give full purpose to them. That's what I really like about the director.
So I'm gonna say something to you that I don't think I've said yet, and this is usually meant for Gabe. I hate your
Yeah.
guts. Okay. And the reason why is because that was an exact point that I had for what I loved about the movie.
Oh my
So let's
God.
go ahead and
Oh.
jump into what we absolutely loved. Um, I think I have you frozen a little. There you are. All right, you were frozen just for a
Yeah.
second. I think my internet's not the best. Sorry about that, guys. If we're a little fuzzy, let us know if you can hear us and see us just fine. So the things that we absolutely loved. It was my third bullet point of three. The idea that help can come in unlikely places. Napoleon was on my list. You already mentioned that. Dilly
Sorry.
himself, for crying out loud. I mean, he's a guy who just got out of prison, for crying out loud, and because he can drive the lorry there, then
Mhm.
he's part of the thing. And even B Joy has to threaten him just to get in the truck, for crying out loud. But B Joy didn't look at his resume first and say, okay, you can join me. The college kids that are in the jail that help out Napoleon. I mean, thank goodness they were there for a different reason, but they were able to come through. And I mean, talk about heartbreaking scene there when you have some of them falling and dying or whatever. I mean, that was crushing the girl's boyfriend or whatever. I honestly thought, and this is one thing that I do have a regret about this movie. Why did Lokesh not have the girl have some awesome action scene where she's just so angry and she's got to get her revenge and she just takes out everybody? It probably would have been a little too over the top, but I would have absolutely loved it. We have the truck owner Kamachi, the kid you mentioned. He's really annoying at first because I get it. He's worried about his property, but he starts to help out. That scene where they are on the top of the hill and the bad guys are coming. He's able to, I think he holds the gun or whatever. That was a great action scene too. But he's a kid that you wouldn't expect to be in a movie like this. And then of course, I'm gonna even include who I call the jerk as I'm watching the movie, Palpandi, the traitor. He was someone again who you probably wouldn't have expected to cause such a wrench to throw things here and there off and out of whack. The idea of Lokesh being able to take, like you said, these small characters, or maybe people that not small characters, these people you wouldn't expect, the picture perfect heroes or whatever, and bring them in and make that stew and all that kind of stuff. I really, really loved that. A second thing I loved was my second favorite thing about the movie was Karthi itself. Okay, I like Karthi as the actor, but I also like Karthi's character Dilly. I liked them both probably equally. The way that he portrayed this character was absolutely fantastic. He's a reserved character. He really looks like a guy who just wants to get to his daughter, live a quiet life, get away from all the nonsense, and he knows he has to go through it. He has to turn on go into that different zone to make that happen. The way he did it, he wasn't cartoonish, he wasn't over the top. He was perfect in all those elements, I thought. He did a really good job, but he was also um kind of like reserved and quiet to a point where he was just able to pull it off. I have a quote here from a movie reviewer. I don't want to steal his quote. This is from Bharadwaj Rangan from Film Companion South. He said Kaithi is one of the few actors who can do both Clark Kent through his face and Superman through his stocky frame. There's a fantastic mass scene set around a swimming pool. It's stunning for a few minutes of a purely physical performance. It's strange how he looks and sounds so genteel and urban in real life, but his best work on the screen is when he's got a bit of an animal inside of him. I love that quote because I feel like that really describes what I'm seeing when I'm seeing Kaithi act in this role. I can't say other roles. I haven't seen him in any other movies. I don't think I have, at least. Video songs, yes. And of course, the character is fantastic. I'm going to go fix my internet real quick, so it's going to be you by yourself. I want you to tell the audience what you think about Kaithi in this movie. You're
Yeah,
on mute.
talking.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
There,
I
you're
just
good.
realized that. Sorry. Yeah, talking about Karthik, what I liked about this movie is before this I've seen a lot of movies of Karthik, but I never saw him so humble and quiet in any character. Usually he's like loud and he was very active character, and he is known for his action, right? But in this particular scene, the way he started, I was wondering like where the director is taking him. But I totally understand, he was that character, he was full of energy, he can take on anybody before he was going to prison. But in prison, I think he realized this very I mean, the lesson he has to learn, I would say, that because of his anger, because of his adrenal, he lost like 10 years of his life. He lost his wife. So I think that was really bothering him, and that's why he has to change himself in a kind of way. He became someone who is he's not him. He became very quiet, very respectable, and even when the police officer was threatening him that uh, I will take away your daughter from you if you don't do this particular task, he was very quiet about it. He was very angry inside, but he was not showing it outside. Even when you know uh, the watchman in the orphanage, he was also telling, okay, oh, now you are calling and telling you are her father, but what were you doing for all these 10 years? Even he handled that situation was very well. He just said, that's my fate. He was not angry or anything, because he was having his own problems. He was stuck in something. He almost died, and he was not getting internet, all those things. He was really want to see his daughter, but even in that situation he was keeping it calm until it was needed. When the action scene really, it when it was needed to commit, he was keeping him quiet. I never saw that side of Karthik in any movie before. I might have saw like 5 to 6 movies before that. That was really new for me, and I really liked it.
You talking about the action part of it, or just the fact that he was able to
He was
pull off
quiet.
the?
Yeah, yeah. The way
Okay,
he was very quiet and gentle. Action he is
okay.
known for. His first movie itself, like, he had a blast with action. So action wise, everyone expect when they come to his movies that there will be very good action.
That's funny because for me, since this was my introduction, I'm always going to think of this character when I associate him. So that's pretty funny. Appreciate those thoughts. Now, before I get to my favorite thing about the movie, you got to help me out because the comment section was pretty lit up on one of the movie reactions for how I said his real life brother's name. Okay, I feel like the way to say it is Surya, like Surya
S-
Kumar, but I don't think I'm
Hmm.
saying it correctly. So I need you to help me out. How say it slowly for me so my brain can pick it up.
It's same like the Surya Kumar Yadav, but
Okay,
spelling is different, but still the pronunciation will be same. It's called Surya. You can say Surya. The spelling is Surya, but when we say it fast, we say Surya. Surya.
Surya, Surya.
Yeah.
Is there like an either right in the in between? Surya,
There is, but you don't have to emphasize on that. Surya.
Surya. All right, because there was several people trying to help me out, and I want to make sure I get it correct. Kaushik says right here, when Kaithi and Surya are real life brothers, or they are real life brothers, when they come together in whatever film that is, it's going to be glorious. Absolutely. I mean, I want to see these two guys coming together, but I also got to see Kamal Hassan in there. I mean, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. It's it's the question is, when is it going to happen? But we'll get there in just a few minutes. My favorite thing about this movie, obviously, is the father daughter aspect. The fact that the entire movie is surrounded about him trying to reunite with his daughter. The fact that his daughter's in this orphanage. How long has she been there? Her entire life, maybe. We're not exactly
Yeah.
sure. A long time. She just wants to have family. She's willing to forgive this guy and get to know him as long as he's in his life, in her life. He just wants to get there. You're right. The internet thing was so it was a lot of more tense or suspense that was being created because he couldn't get a picture of what she looks like. For me, that was just that had me bought in as a teacher of 9 or 10-year-olds, and that character is about that age. My heart was already there. I was already rooting for their connection. And I liked how Dilia's character was like, who am I? I haven't even been in her life. Like, she's probably not going to accept me. I just want to be here. And also his main motivation, B-Joy, you're going to take care of my daughter. You're going to put her into a right school, right? So that whole thing for me was the entire movie. I think if you take away that motivation, I don't know
Hmm.
if I like the movie as much as I do.
Yeah, definitely that pushed him right to whatever he was not committing to do. As I said, he was in jail. He left that life behind. So because he was in that situation, he has to push himself to do that again for the last time at least to see his daughter. So yeah, that was really cool. And talking about her daughter, she also did a fantastic job. She and
Yes.
her friend also, as I said, all the supporting characters, everyone did a good job. They acted pretty much very well, everyone except one or two. But yeah, everyone did that well. And also talking about the Bijoy helping Delhi at the end of the Vikram, Delhi was in UP, completely different state. It's a northern state, and he was in a small hut in middle of nowhere basically. So I don't know like how much did he help. His daughter was also there with him in that village. Did did he really help her, help them to make her study in a good school, or those things? I was not sure because I was expecting them to be in a city and she was studying in a proper boarding school or something.
Right.
But end of the Vikram, they were in a small village, and I think he was doing some small work like repair work or engineering work or something, and she was also studying outside their small hut. So yeah, that we have to see in the next movie. Maybe they will show like what which are really help them with. So yeah, and yeah, pretty much it. That's it from my side.
Well, I wonder too if he doesn't help, if he didn't help out the daughter, if that's going to be something that's a part of the next movie or the big team up mashup of no, I'm not going to help you out because you said you were going to help me out and you didn't. Create some tension. Who knows? So I just got two things about what I didn't love about the film. The first one, I kind of alluded to it a little bit. The action scene with the jail break-in. They're trying to break into the jail the entire time. I was fine with that. And I also, real quick, I love the whole thing where B-Joy realizes as Napoleon's about to let the prisoners go to avoid this disaster, realizes that, wait a second, is there a certain guy in there that we should not let out? I thought that was really, really cool how they were able to get to that right away. But the scene in the jail break in where the guys get through the window and they're kind of on that outside room and they're trying to get through, and this is where we have the boyfriend of the college kid that dies or whatever. I thought like it was just too long. It just kind of lasts. They're on top of the roof. They're coming outside. There's like 50 of them, for crying out loud. These guys trying to get in, and it's taking them forever to get in. I just felt like that was just a little too long. And this is me being really, really nitpicky because I really like this movie. And then also, it's a good and a bad thing. Paul Pondy, this guy. I mean, I hated this guy so much, and that's what I'm supposed to. I'm supposed to hate this guy, but No one notices this guy like pull all these strings. And the reason why it kind of bugged me was for how forward thinking Lokesh is in his writing and in his directing, for how he has these different nuances that I loved. I felt like that was just an easy go to each time to cause conflict for our guys in the truck, where maybe we could have thought of something else besides just Paul Pondy in the back the entire time. I mean, no one notices. None of the other guys. The one guy wakes up for a second, right? And then he goes
Yeah.
back to sleep or whatever. This guy was able to cause so much havoc, and he's throwing rocks at the end. I mean, I just hated this guy, and maybe it's a plus, but I just felt like going to the well so many times of him being the reason why all these guys are able to follow this lorry. They're able to get on top of the mountain, all this kind of stuff. I just felt was just a little too much. But those are the only two things I didn't love. Did you have anything in this movie, maybe the things I mentioned or something else that it wasn't your favorite,
So
besides what you've already mentioned before?
talking about Pal Pandey, I think he was similar character to the short guy in the Vikram.
Oh, I love that
He
guy,
was
though.
getting
Yeah.
away with everything. He was already there. He was changing the nuances of the scene. So he was that like a bug. He was not really a threat, but constantly annoying thing that they were having. So yeah, that way it. So he did a good job, right? He annoyed us. Like that was his purpose, right? So in that way, I think they have done a good job. And one of the comment I saw from Kaushik that he was telling that they were not in UP, and that's what the gang thinks. But there are two reasons. One thing they said that he is in UP, and second thing, all the people, other people who are construction people, they were talking in Hindi. And I think the kid was also with them. He was having hard time understanding them. They were speaking in Tamil and they was speaking in Hindi. Unless I missed something, they were definitely in a northern state, or maybe they were all Hindi workers who are working in south. So yeah, so let me know, Kaushik, what did I miss? Like why you are telling they are not in UP? Did they show something which I missed? Yeah, and
Nice.
talking about the Palpandi, right? One thing which I did not like, sorry, I'm jumping the gun here, is when he was in the back of the truck, right? So when Bijoy was shooting, he holded his hand clearly, right? He was holding his hand and trying to distract him. But why didn't Bijoy realize that after the everything was finished and went back and saw like who was holding his hand? So that's something which I felt odd.
Exactly.
Did they think that he was one of the gang member who he was holding? Still it was something he should have gone there, they should have addressed, in my opinion. So yeah, that is something which I felt odd, similar to the Lawrence scene in the Vikram.
Yeah, and again, we're grasping at straws here because obviously we really enjoyed this movie, but there are
Yeah,
things that take you out of films, and it's just like, man, like this is so close
yeah.
to being almost a perfect film. To respond, I'm not sure if Koshik's responding to what you had asked him to respond. He said, no, that's the visual representation of what the gang thinks where he is. He might not actually be there. Lokesh said this in his interview, so maybe he mentioned it in an
Yeah,
interview.
I did not
um
see.
yeah, I didn't see that either. I don't really understand this comment, like how they think Kamal is in U.S. However, he's amongst them in reality. Do they at some point in Vikram? Do they think he's in the USA, or is U.S. a different abbreviation? Maybe he means UP.
Yeah, yeah, in US only.
Okay.
I think they showed that scene also. Even I'm wrong about that scene also. Oh my god, I thought he went to US, right?
I honestly I can't remember. You guys have these trap minds, for crying out loud. It's fantastic.
No, no, the
So
scene where he was watching the kid, like the butler was watching
at
Batman
the very
in the
very end,
restaurant. Yeah,
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 the Rolex scene, yeah. Well, but we appreciate Kashik for you for leaving those comments. Anyone, any comments you want to leave, go ahead and leave them. We'll get to them. All right. So those are my overall thoughts for this film. Kaithi is a film that I'm going to say I did not love as much as Vikram, but I think that's not really fair. It's a different type of film in general, even though it's part of the same universe. Vikram, I was really, really enthralled, except for maybe the first 40, 45 minutes. This film, I felt like the first 40, 45 minutes were a little better just because I liked the character building and the story building they were doing there. But I felt like the third act in this film was a little stronger than the third act in Vikram, just because Vikram's third act or second act was so amazing. But looking at it as a whole, just this movie as a whole, there's so many things I loved about this movie. The acting was phenomenal. I can't think of any actor that I thought took me out of it. Even like Paul Pondy, I'm complaining about so much. The acting was very, very top notch. Maybe if there was a weak actor, it's maybe our main bad guy in the jail cell, right? I think maybe not the best delivery of lines here or there. The guy who is, I'm gonna find his name right here. Is it his brother or the other guy who's in charge trying to get this guy out of jail? Arjun
Yeah, he was
Das,
his brother.
right? Abnu.
Deep
He
voice guy.
is phenomenal. Yes, yeah, exactly. Deep voice guy. That's what he's known as. I don't think he's been in too many films besides Lokesh's films. He was in Master. Obviously, I think he was in Vikram as well. This guy is fantastic. This guy is
Yeah.
absolutely phenomenal. He does such a good job as a villain. I can't wait to see him play a protagonist once, just to see if he's able to do it. But he's very, very strong. I'm gonna give this movie a grade. We're not gonna finish the live stream yet, but for Kaithi itself, I'm gonna give this movie. Man, it's tough because I love those films that are kind of smaller in budget, smaller in scale, simple plot, but they really pack a punch. I'm still going to give it an A minus. I think it's a very, very strong film. I I think that there's so many elements of it that I really enjoy, but I wasn't finding myself as enthralled and as excited as I was watching, if that makes sense, as I was. And I'm sorry, I'm going to compare it to Vikram. I probably shouldn't, as I was with that film, which I saw very recently. So, still a strong score for me. What do you think? What are some of your final thoughts in this film before we start talking about Lokesh and the universe and all that kind of stuff?
No, I'm ready to give my grade. Even I agree with your the grade which I have given. Compared to Vikram, it's not. I did not like it more than Vikram, but yeah, as you said, it's not fair to compare. It came in a different time period, right? It came before that. So yeah, looking at the overall story and everything, I would also give it A minus. So yeah,
Hey, look at that. We're still
and
tied. I thought one of us was break the tie, but not this time. Um, we're gonna talk now about the LCU, the Lokesh Cinematic Universe. Now, everyone who loves films, I don't care what part of the world it is, you know about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is not that universe, but it's connected like that is. And I'll tell you, Varun, I'm not sure how much you pay attention to Hollywood as you would to the Indian industries, which I don't blame you at all. But there's a lot of different studios that are trying to create their own cinematic universe, and it has not worked out. NBC Universal, they try to do a monster universe, and it started off with the Mummy reboot with Tom
yeah,
Cruise.
yeah,
They were going to do Dr. Jekyll, Mr.
Dark
Hyde.
Universe.
Right, the Dark Universe, exactly. They even had a picture where they had all of their stars that were going to be in their own movies, and
Hmm.
they canceled after the first movie, The Mummy, which I don't think deserved all the hate. I just thought it was
Yeah,
a dumb movie to start universe off with. Right, started off with something else, not just a reboot. Um, DC is still trying to figure out their shared universe. It's a shared universe. Now it's not a shared universe. Oh, it's a shared universe. No, it's not. I mean, they can't figure it out, and I love DC, so
yeah,
it hurts my heart a little bit. And it's hard to do because you got to be committed to the system. I love the fact that Lokesh Kanagaraj, who again I have esteemed already as a top notch director, in my opinion. I still got to watch other movies of his. I love that he's like, I'm not trying to be a huge big time studio. I'm not asking for a huge budget. Give me $2.5 million. I'm going to make a film, and I have a vision for how I can expand this, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. And you're going to jump on board eventually. I feel like that's kind of his attitude. Now, I'm not saying that he's arrogant, but I love that he's got his vision, he's got his confidence in it, and he's moving it forward. And so far with these two films, he's delivered two top-notch films, and the second one, Vikram, which is what you want is shared universe, is better than the first one. And it makes everyone, we're already excited for Rolex, and we got like 5 minutes of the guy, for crying out loud, and we're
Yeah.
already excited. I'm not going to compare him to Thanos because that's not fair. This is not the Avengers. This is not comic book. This is this guy's own characters and this or that. I love the fact that he had the balls to do it, and I feel like he's already bought himself enough clout, if you will, to continue on with several more films before someone says, okay, we can't do this anymore. What are your thoughts about the idea of this LCU, a shared cinematic universe, that so far is off and running?
Yeah, so I understand the concern here, like how he's able to do more movies and the concept, how he came about the concept of universe. We have these thoughts because we already have this preconceived notion, I would say, that these universe should be based on superheroes, or there should be a base material like comic books. Already we are familiar with that, they go off of, right? They will, based on those comic books, they will make those movies, and there these universe of superheroes. Suddenly we see a universe which is dealing with normal people, right? Most of the time it feels more normal. These Vikram and Kaithi movies feel like close to reality, especially for me, someone who stays in India. I see those things in my daily life. I eat biryani, I beat up some people. Sorry, I don't beat up some people, but I definitely
Yes.
beat.
Record it. Record you beating him up. I want to see it.
No, no, I was just joking. I eat biryani, I
Biryani
puke
by
a
the
little bit,
pool.
I go.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I come back home. So because it was so real, it was feels so normal, even though it is not normal compared to the superhero movies. This
Right.
concept of having a universe looks strange to us. Maybe this is the first, right? Maybe there are more movies which will come out of this, and I really like this new approach. And as I said, in the for the superhero movies, we already know there are comic books, and we know where they will go from here. Here, the whatever the material is there, it is with Lokesh. We don't know. Maybe he has written 10 more movies already, and he's planning them, or we don't know. So that's why it feels little strange there. Otherwise, yeah, I really like this concept of having a universe in a close to reality kind of.
Yeah, I do too. And I just love a shared universe, cinematic universe, because you watch a movie, you get invested in these characters, and the only chance you have to see them again is in a sequel, which, let's face it, most sequels, 90% of them are garbage anyways. It's
Yeah.
not deserving of what we got in that character. And a lot of times, and I'm speaking about Hollywood studios because they're notorious for this. Doesn't matter how good the movie is, we're going to make money. So just put out some kind of garbage out there, and people will I hate that garbage, right?
Mhm.
I'm saying garbage a lot. But I like this approach, like you said, ground in reality, even better. It can go anywhere. I think the Brahmastra is going to be another cinematic universe, and that's going to be
Afterwards.
not comic book superheroes, but based off mythology. Correct me if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
If not mythology, then based off beliefs, right?
Yeah, based on Hindu beliefs and the
Hindu
gods
beliefs.
and the powers, those kind of things. Yeah.
Yeah, I shouldn't call it mythology. My bad. But you're going to have that coming out, and it's great. And people are going to make, if people don't know, they're going to make comparisons to the MCU. This is not the MCU. This is the LCU, and it's original. We got a comment here from Kaushik saying the LCU is a great technique to bring everything and make cinema bigger and better.
Yeah.
Yes, you expand things. You have people doing different things. You have Kaithi show up for a few minutes. I didn't realize it, but in Vikram, he had a voiceover at some point. So I mean, it's cool that you have these different things happening. Lokesh is once in a generational talent in Tamil cinema. He already has a huge fan base. He can bring people to this to the theater solely. Not sure about that, but I know for myself, I will watch his movie just because his name's on it. And talking about the future of the LCU, I did a little bit of research. I'm not going to say I spent hours doing this, trying to figure out where we're going from here. And as far as I know, his next film is not going to be part of the LCU. It's going to be a project that he already agreed to with VJ. Right now, it's called VJ 60 or Thalapathy 67. That's not going to be the title of the movie. That's just the
No,
project.
no.
I don't think it has anything to do with kind of like Master, how that had nothing to do with it. That was just another movie he was making. I'm not sure if it's connected to Master. It could be. Who knows? But it's probably just its own thing. But the next one that has been announced at least is Kaithi 2. Now, is that really going to be Kaithi 2, or are they going to change that and say, you know what, let's do Kaithi Vikram 2 and do this or that? The way Kaithi 2 was first announced was it's going to be a prequel where it shows Dilly's life beforehand, before he got arrested for being a suspicious character, whatever he was arrested for. And it's going to show you, it's going to talk more about it. I have a little bit of information here that I thought was interesting because you were talking about how his past kind of alluded to how he was able to kick so much butt, if you will. And it says right here, he was a kabaddi player and won several trophies in the tournaments conducted when he was in prison. And it hinted in the climax as he walks out with a bag full of trophies. So supposedly Kaithi 2 is going to be about a prequel with this character. But I ask you this, Varun. First of all, what do you think about that idea? Second of all, do you think like they might need to scrap that because we're so excited to see Rolex and Vikram and Kaithi and all these different different elements?
Yeah. So I'm not sure. I feel it's a good idea to have entire movie showing the backstory of Kaithi itself. Maybe they can show a little bit, and then they can continue further with the story. That's what I was expecting. Until you mentioned, I was not aware of the next movie. I did not do research, or I was not knowing that Kaithi 2 is in the making. So yeah, so for me, all these universes, all these movies should be like the warm up to the next movies, right? So when we have a standalone movie, they will show the character, they will make us connect to the main character and everything. Then they will show what he can do, and only then people will be able to connect whatever he is doing, and they can uh, they can be with the character and experience all those things. So in the universe, when you have already two movies, when people are coming for the next movie, you already warm up them, so they already have those expectations, they already know the characters, though they will not question whatever the characters are doing now. So I think it's a very good opportunity to push it further and make it bigger and bigger. So yeah, I don't think I'm a big fan of just showing the backstory of the entire movie as a backstory.
I agree. And the only reason why I slightly hesitate is because I do have faith in Conor Garage that he'll
Yeah.
figure out something. But I see what you're saying because it's almost like not that he didn't expect the kind of reception these movies were going to get. I'm sure he hoped for the
It
best,
might have.
but you don't want to kill that momentum, right? Of people looking forward to it. Not that they wouldn't
Mm.
look forward to it, but I know for myself, I want to watch the next one with all these characters like tomorrow. So I know I got to
Mm.
wait a few years, but I don't really want to. So if I have to wait 4 or 5 years, then, you know, I'm not going to be a happy camper. I don't think he cares about that, but that's just what I'm saying. Kaushik has an interesting comment here. He says, Thalapathy 67, Lokesh is thinking of bringing it to the LCU. Ooh, he's rewriting the
Mm.
script again and making it bigger than Vikram. Watch out for that announcement.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
It will be big for sure. Adding Telepathy Vijay to this universe, oh, it will be out of the charts.
it would be, can you imagine VJ, Kamal Hassan? I mean, correct me if
And
I'm wrong.
Fafa and Karthik.
Setu was killed, right? I mean, he's not going to come back in another
Yeah,
one,
yeah, he
right?
will not come back. I'm thinking. I'm not sure. I have
I was
not
gonna
seen
say,
his dead body.
is there yeah, is there any chance he can come back? In the books for Jurassic Park, Ian Malcolm, he's left for dead. But Michael Crichton brought him back in the next one, so you know, you never know. But can you imagine that? I mean, I don't know how they're gonna handle that payroll,
Mm.
but Sethupathi, Thalapathy, Kamal Hassan, Surya, Karthi. Oh my gosh.
Fafa. You forgot Fafa.
Yes, exactly. How can I forget about him? And I don't care what anyone says. If you bring back Sethupathi, you better bring back Tina as well because she deserves it. We need justice for Tina 100%. What's up, Vignesh? Thanks for joining us. Well, just to mention a few of the connections between Kaithi and Vikram, because again, like I said earlier, for anyone that missed it, I missed some of the connections. I got to watch Vikram again and try to see some of those cameos, if you will. But I got this from a different article where it mentions some of the actors. So you got Arjun Das, Harish Uthaman, Harish Parati, Dina, and Baby Monica. They all reprised their roles in cameo appearances in Vikram as Ambu, Adikalam, Stephen Raj, Kamachi, who is the truck owner, and Amuda, respectively, in the mid-credits scene. Did I think I missed? There's a mid-credits scene. Did I miss that? Or are they talking about the Rolex scene?
Yeah, they are
Probably
talking
Rolex
about the
scene.
Rolex scene. While talking about the
Okay.
Rolex scene, right? There are two gangs who are complaining to Rolex, as I said before. One gang
Yeah.
was these two gangs, Anbu and the brother who was in jail, and also he was out of the jail, so they have to explain that as well. Because at the end of Kaithi, the other brother was inside the jail, right? So while they were complaining to Rolex, they were both there. Both brothers were there, and they were first. They started with Karthik's complaint. They told that there is a guy in Tirchi who came out of prison, and he he took away all our drugs. Then came the short guy. He explained about Vikram. So yeah, I understand the confusion. We thought entire thing was about Vikram. So you remember a guy on which Rolex was wiping his knife.
Yes.
He was the
Yeah.
base guy. He
That
was
was
Anbu.
Abner. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Amber. Yeah.
he don't know about Vikram. He was complaining about Karthik. He was telling like this a guy from prison who came and took away all those drugs, all those things. So yeah, there was the
Oh.
connection, and that scene there only they have shown Kaithi as well. Kaithi and his daughter and the kid, right, who was helping them. They showed them also. That's where I thought they were in UP because other guys were speaking Hindi and they were in a small hut. So yeah, that was the connection. One shocking thing for me that I was not expecting Bijoy, as I said before. That was straightaway character which was very prominent in the second part as well. I did not catch Bijoy. I was not expecting him to be in the first movie. But one scene I actually caught was, as I said in the Vikram's review also, when that chase scene was happening, right, in the truck, there was using petrol bombs and all. That time Vijay was in calls, right? So they have shown that clip in the Vikram. We can see a guy with handcuffs driving the lorry, driving the truck, and Vijay was in call. He was telling like, okay, okay, I'll be there
Oh
in a
yeah. Yeah.
minute.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that scene I recognize because of the handcuffs. I know Karthik. I did not see Kaithi, but I know Karthik's character was in handcuffs in most of the movie. So that I caught while watching watching.
Wow. Do you think that there's a chance that Karthi was willing to film just his hands for that scene? Probably not. It's probably a hand double. Or they probably got
Yeah,
his brother. Hey, let's see your hands for 1 second. You guys are related. It's okay. That's cool. I've got to watch Vikram again, which would be fantastic to watch anyways. Abalash, what's up? Kaushik, I mean this guy works for like he's like Lokesh's personal aide or something like that. He says
mm,
Kaithi 2 won't be a prequel. Now he has a different idea for the sequel. After Vikram, he has changed many ideas. Kind of like what we were alluding to. Like, how could
yeah,
you not?
yeah,
You would have to be really stubborn if you're Lokesh. Like, no, I got to do this prequel.
mm,
It's a good problem to have the next one be even bigger and better and
yeah,
super successful. I can't wait. We have a great suggestion here from Kush. Varun, we might want to think about this. Who knows if we can get our schedule together. A Brahmastra live stream review, like a current one, right? As far as I
yeah.
know, it comes out this Thursday. I'm
Ninth.
curious if maybe a Friday night which would be Saturday morning for you, Varun. Maybe we
Yeah.
want to, same bat time type of situation, but on a different day. That might be a lot of fun. This has been a lot of fun. I appreciate Varun's time. I appreciate him being a professional, even though I was not, with not giving any preparation. He did a fantastic job talking about this movie. We appreciate everyone joining us here. We appreciate the comments. We appreciate those who are going to watch this on the recorded version. Comment below. Let us know what you think about this movie. Let us know what parts we missed that you absolutely loved. And let us know, too, if you like this idea. If, I didn't really give anyone the heads up. If you want us to do this more in the future, like a Brahmastra live stream, let us know if that's very interesting or not. Varun, any final thoughts about this film, about the LCU, or about just life in general?
Yeah, about LCU, I really expect Lokesh to show biryani in the next movie. That's my biggest expectation. They already did it in 2 movies.
Gotta do it.
That is something I have to have. If they have
Is
that,
there
I'll give
always
the movie.
action after the biryani?
No, biryani and then action. Only then you will get the strength, right? Strength to perform the action scenes.
Absolutely.
Yes, yeah, that. And yeah, I really like those elements. I hope he keeps his night scenes, all the cinematic scenes that he shoots in night, and I hope he still uses this unexpected character. I'm not sure if I'll be really shocked in when I'm watching the next movie, even if he shows a small character like a side by in out of focus. Also, I'll expect them to be a bigger character in the next movie.
Absolutely.
So yeah, now I don't think now Lokesh can shock me. Like it will be a challenge for him. So yeah,
You bring up a good point because he's going to force us to pay really close attention to
every
everything.
yes,
Like someone walking in the background, like, oh, they're gonna be a huge character at some point. I'm on
yeah,
to you, pal. You fooled us with Tina, obviously. You fooled us with many characters in Kaithi. It's not gonna happen anymore. We're on to you. We know what's going on, and we're gonna riot when we see someone walk past there and they don't have an awesome, epic action scene.
yes,
But
yes.
the next movie is going to be called whatever it's going to be called with the subtitles. Watch out for the guy eating the biryani. Just saying. With
Hope
that
so.
being said, Varun, you are the man. Go ahead. I don't want to leave out any
No,
comedic
that's all.
gold you have for us.
That's all I had. I hope everyone enjoyed this, and let us know in the comment section if it is a good idea. Can we go ahead and do this more often and add more people? Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I enjoy this. I don't know. I kind of prefer this way of doing a review. So let us know. See if you like this. Let us know if you want more of this. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Varun, you are the man. You already know that. Everyone else, join us. You are awesome as well. And with all that being said, come back for more videos. But until next time.
Take care, guys.